Hello everyone, it is Teacher Marianne here from HelloTeacherMarianne.com, and on this channel you'll find videos all about helping you earn an income from home by teaching online, where I'm bringing to you valuable tips, insight, and need-to-know information. Okay, how do you get hired without school? This is the big question. Here are my latest application tips and video tips for the new video requirement of 3 to 5 minutes long. So stay tuned. I know I had done an application tips video before, prior to the new video requirements and prior to a little bit of tweaks in the application process. And I just felt like after answering so many questions via email from different referrals that it was just time to do an updated video with new and just more application tips just from all of the questions that I get. So stick around and I'm going to let you know the mistakes that I see most often and just kind of my advice. Now, I don't work for Outschool other than I teach on the Outschool platform, but I am not a staff member of Outschool. So as always, everything that I say is strictly from experience, from others sharing their knowledge with me through their experience, or just my own research. So, you know, I am not coming to you as a staff member of Outschool. I'm just giving you the best advice that I can give you and just trying to offer the best help that I can offer as an Outschool teacher who also likes to help other teachers get hired. Okay, so go ahead before we go any further and go ahead and hit subscribe and click the bell if you have not done so already. If you're interested in my Outschool freebie, that will be linked below. This is basically a walkthrough guide to help you think and spark ideas and help you brainstorm about which classes that you could teach on Outschool. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to go ahead and mention that Outschool has great resources on their website. You know, you can type an email to Outschool staff, or you can type in your question kind of like a Google search, and you can search their website for articles that have your answers, and they really have it so well organized. It is so easy to use. I find answers every day about Outschool from that resource. Also have, and I wanted to mention that here, how to create a great teacher application, and they also have how to create a great teacher profile. And so be sure to check out those resources. I'm going to link the Creating a Great Teacher Application document in my description box below. So be sure to check out that document. It comes straight from Outschool. It's what they're looking for. It will actually give you, here's what we consider a great answer. Here's what we consider, you know, a good answer. Here's what we consider an okay answer. Okay, Outschool is so highly competitive right now that I would not risk an okay or a good answer. I would study the answers that they consider to be great for each question. There are 4 questions on the application. They have each question listed in this document, and under each question they have, here's a great answer, here's a good answer, here's an okay answer. All right, so check out that document. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to mention is they are looking for excellent written communication in their applications. So I suggest, because I know a lot of you are writing and rewriting your applications, and after a while you can just start missing, oh, I put a comma here, it should have been a period, oh, I didn't put this in parentheses, I should have used a dash, not a period, you know, things like that. You just start missing the little things after you read and reread something so many times. Put your text through Grammarly.com. It's a free proofreading website. It will just proofread it in just a few seconds and give you suggestions and let you know, oh, here's a grammar error. I suggest you do that and then copy and paste that to your application. All right, so definitely do that. Let's look at the application questions. All right, question number 1 is list all of the experience that you have teaching or working with children in any capacity. Share anything that you think would be helpful for Outschool to know about your experience with kids. All right, so they say be specific. Okay, how long did you work with kids? What subjects did you teach? What ages did you work with? All right, that's what they're wanting. Here's the mistake that I most often see with this question: not giving enough detail. For instance, you might answer, I taught my own children to read. I volunteered at my children's preschool for 2 years. I volunteered at a local nonprofit teaching elementary age kids for the past 7 years. That's not enough detail, because even though that sounds great, it didn't answer what age kids, exactly what did you teach, in what capacity were you working with those kids, did you create curriculum, how did you make your lessons fun and engaging. It just didn't give enough detail. When you say I worked as a volunteer with kids, well, what did you do as a volunteer with kids? When you volunteered at your child's preschool, well, what did you exactly do with those kids on a daily basis? I taught my children to read. How did you teach your children to read? What ages were they? What reading method did you use? Did you use a certain curriculum? You know, go into detail here. That's the number 1 mistake I see with question number 1. Okay, let's go to question number 2. List degrees, teaching credentials, professional training, and other relevant certifications. I think the key here is relevant. If you think it's relevant to teaching kids, explain why. Here's what I think the number 1 mistake is on question 2. It's that applicants list their degrees and or their work history here, just like all of their work history here that has nothing to do with working with kids. So if you say my accounting experience taught me really good customer service skills and I'm prepared to provide parents on Outschool great customer service, well, that's the wrong answer, because that is not the question. The question wants to know how you have directly worked with kids in some way. You know, what is your experience or training or certifications that is relevant to you being able to teach on Outschool's platform to 3 to 18-year-olds. All right, so make sure that what you're listing is relevant to what you're offering Outschool, the type of classes that you have in mind, what kind of teacher you want to be. Make sure that your experience, your professional training, your credentials, your degrees, everything that you're going through, how is it going to help you teach 3 to 18-year-olds in the topic that you have in mind, that you are presenting yourself an expert in, okay? Question number 3, what topics are you passionate about? What age and what experience or expertise do you have in these topics? Be specific here. Give ages of kids you worked with, how long you worked with them, and what exactly did you teach. Okay, so if you say that you want to teach phonics, that phonics is your passion, and if it is, I get that. Phonics is definitely one of my passions, and it's what I teach most often on Outschool. Have you taught phonics activities before? And to whom? For how long? What method of teaching did you use? What was your teaching style? You know, the mistake I see on question 3, where it says, what topics are you passionate about? I feel like, again, this is just me reading lots of applications, and I have noticed some similarities. Some of the same things keep popping up on rejected applications. Again, this is just me talking, not an Outschool staff member talking. So I think that one of the mistakes that I see the most often on question 3 is giving way too many topics and class ideas here, and not presenting yourself as an expert in one topic. So remember, you can always create more classes on Outschool after you're hired. The key here is to present yourself as an expert. You may be amazing at teaching, you know, 7 or 8 different class topics, but which one is your passion? Which one are you really excited to dig into and start teaching when you get hired? Think about that one. And so I definitely think too many topics, where when you have too many ideas and they don't seem connected, they just seem very random from each other, and it's kind of hard to link the ideas together in any way. I feel like it doesn't do you any favors. I feel like you don't come across as an expert in one thing. You're just kind of saying, I could teach this, I could teach this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. But pick one thing and do that and present that one thing really well on this application. And then question 4. Question 4 says, now that you've told us what you want to teach, let us know what your class will look like. Write a class description, including what you will teach, how you will teach it, and what learners should expect from class. This should be at least a paragraph long. Okay, one mistake that I feel like I see on this question is writing too many class descriptions. Question 4 asks you for one class description. Let us know what your class will look like. Write a class description. So again, this goes back to being an expert in one thing. What are you passionate about? Make your application about that one passion and write an amazing class description on that one class. So don't say class idea number 1, class idea number 2, class idea number 7. Don't do that. I feel like that could hurt you. That's just my advice. Again, Outschool has to read thousands of applications. It's a really competitive market right now. So how will you stand out from thousands of applicants here? How's your class idea different or unique? How will you engage the students throughout the lesson? How will your lesson be interactive? Will you be bringing in technology here? Really think about all of these things to make your question number 4, your class description, stand out. And then I think the second mistake that I see here is not giving enough detail. Think it through from the beginning all the way through to the end and write it out that way. What are you going to do in the beginning, starting with greeting the class? Okay, start there. I'm walking myself through this lesson. What is it going to look like exactly? Okay, I'm going to greet the class. What am I going to give expectations? Okay, I need to think about that. Am I going to explain the mute button? I need to think about that. Am I going to then transition into any kind of prior knowledge review? I need to think about that. So think through from beginning to end as if you were about to teach this class for the first time, and then jot those details down. That will give you a better grasp of the detail that you need to think through when writing out your class description. After you write out your class description for the first time, read it as if you were a parent on Outschool, okay? And then ask yourself, do I know exactly what's going to happen in this class by reading the description? Will it be engaging for my child? Will my child have opportunities to talk to the teacher or other students? Will there be any fun games to make this class more interactive? Who exactly is this class for? Does my child need any prior knowledge before taking this class? Can I read from the description and know from the description whether or not this class is a good fit for my child? Okay, so write it out and then read it as if you were a parent, asking yourself all of those questions, and make sure you answer those questions in your class description. Okay, so that is my biggest tip for question number 4. Let's talk about the video. The video requirement, as you know, has changed. It's now 3 to 5 minutes, and I get a lot of questions. Should I introduce myself in this video? Should I just start teaching immediately? Should I use slides or a whiteboard in my video? Should I be strictly natural, or should I edit my video? Should I use a script? All right, here's what I advise my referrals. If you're going to use a whiteboard or a worksheet or slides or anything like that, I recommend recording your video from your own personal Zoom. so that not on their platform because you want to edit it, but on your own personal Zoom, record your video. It's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm just recording this video on my own personal Zoom account. If you're going to use, if you're going to want to show a worksheet that you created or slides that you're going through or something like that, that's one way that you can do it. This will show what the classroom will actually look like from the reviewers, those people who are interviewing you or reviewing your video. They will actually get to see exactly what your classroom will look like. So this is pretty much, I'm kind of sitting on a stool here, and I normally sit in my computer chair, but pretty much this is, other than a shifted angle, this is the classroom that my students see when they come into my classroom on Outschool. So let the interviewers see what the students are going to see. So I think if you have to say something like, this isn't how it's going to really look once I start teaching, or in the classroom, actually the kids will see my screen, but you know, if you have to say things like that, I feel like it's not as professional. I would think you would leave the reviewers with a sense of they aren't really getting to see what your classroom really looks like. They're not really getting a true experience in your classroom if you have to kind of give those disclaimers. So just go ahead and record your video in Zoom as it, and then share your screen to your worksheet, to your slide presentation, or whatever you're using to teach in class. And that way they will get a true experience in your classroom. The other thing, though, that you can do if you don't want to use Zoom, you can record your video on your phone and then just use iMovie. If you've got an iPhone, just use your iPhone to record, and then just use iMovie on your iPhone to edit your video. That's what I do. A ton of most of my videos are done on my iPhone. And then just you can insert a slide to show. So like if you've created a Google slide or a Canvas slide for the kids to see, then you can insert that in your video from iMovie. And then just really make sure that your transitions between one activity to the next reflect, you know, that some time had lapsed and now you guys are into another activity. I think one of the things that happens, like, you know, after you decide to use either Zoom, you know, or your iPhone, or however you want to make your video, I think one of the things that happens is there's too much wait time in the video. Like teachers are starting their lesson, and then like maybe the students have to write a word, and so you wait there with the realistic time frame that it would take students to write that word, but that's just eating precious seconds of your video. I would not let any wait time happen on your video. When you are teaching, I would quickly transition from one activity to the next. You can break your video up into clips and just you know, however you want to choose to transition from activity to activity in your iMovie or on your Zoom, you know, editing or whatever. You need to make sure you transition smoothly from one activity to the next, but don't just say, all right, guys, go ahead and write dog. Okay, I mean, just don't do that. All right, so here's what I recommend a video look like. Start with a short introduction and a lesson setup. Okay, so for example, hello, welcome to my classroom. My name is Marianne Bird. And at this point in the lesson, I've already explained the class expectations and the mute button, and we've already practiced our special sounds for today. So we are picking up with our first activity, and then you'll transition into that first activity, and then you'll transition into another activity. Again, either by inserting a slide that leads up to the next activity, or just transitioning, maybe that screen will fade out, your next activity screen will fade in, however you want to set up that transition. But again, that's all very, very basic editing. Again, you could do it in iMovie, or you could do it on a simple editing on your PC. but just let Outschool know, let them see multiple activities that you're going to do in that short video. And then after you show the part of the class that you really want to showcase, make sure you're showcasing the most engaging and the most interactive parts. Make sure you're showcasing technology if you're going to use technology. I suggest ending your video by thanking Outschool for their time, letting them know that you look forward to hearing from them, that you're excited about the possibility of working for Outschool. That's just how I would set it up. So a short introduction and lesson setup, then teaching multiple parts of the lesson, and then a quick thank you at the end. And that is definitely what I would do. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I hope these tips are helpful. Remember, you can do it. It might change your life, and I'm your biggest cheerleader. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.